Hi, and welcome to another video by Jim the Car Guy. Today we have a fairly simple job. It's a 2015, it's a Honda CRV with a 2.4 liter engine. We're just going to be doing the basic oil change and filter and making sure we put the correct amount of oil into it. We are also going to reset the oil maintenance reminder light, which is a very important part of any oil change, is to reset that maintenance required light. Hondas are fairly easy, but I'll bring you right through that as well. Okay, when you look underneath the vehicle, this is the oil pan itself. Actually, it tells you, it says engine oil. This one here is the drain plug. This is the 17 millimeter I was telling you about. Now, when you take this off, there's actually a washer on here. A lot of times the filters come with a new washer. You want to use the new one if the washer is in poor condition. If it's not in poor condition, you can reuse the old one. And up underneath here, we will get a light in there so you can see better. That's the oil filter right up in the front. This is the radiator support up here, and that's where the filter is. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take that drain plug out, and we're going to let all the oil drain out first. And once the oil finishes draining, we'll take out that filter. Put this on here like this, and you want to remember counterclockwise off, clockwise on. So we're going to put it on there, just tap it, and it comes right off. And then we'll obviously, you're going to make sure you have a rag handy because it is going to make a little bit of a mess, just not much, but a little bit. Okay. Now, you want to have a bucket, a suitable container to actually drain your motor oil into that you're not going to have a problem with. So we're just going to lift it up just a little bit, and then we'll take that out. Now, wear gloves whenever you work on it because motor oil on your hands is never good. So you want to just be very careful with that oil on your hands. Okay, while that's draining out, remember I told you about that washer? This is the washer right here. If you need to change it, you would just take the washer off, throw it away, and get a new one. So let me go in the back. I'm going to grab a new washer for this vehicle here because it is a little damaged. And we're going to let the oil drain out, and then we'll come right back. Okay, now while the oil is draining, you want to just, after you take your washer off here, you want to clean off any kind of dirt or foreign matter that may be on here, so it's a nice clean surface for the new O-ring or new gasket to go on. And then you just take the new gasket, put it over the top just like that, and that's it. And then we put it back on. So now we're just going to let that drain the rest of the way, and once it finishes draining, we're going to put that plug back in, and we'll wrap this job up and get the filter off. So all right, let's let it drain, and then we'll come right back. Okay, and once the oil finishes draining, you just screw your plug in by hand. You don't want to use a ratchet or a wrench or anything right now. You screw it in as far as you can go. And now we'll just snug it down just a little bit more. All right, being careful not to strip out that plug. Now, the oil filter is up inside here. You can probably see that. Okay, so we put this on here like this. And then we just get on here. We're going to move this out of the way for a second. And we get on here with a wrench or ratchet, and then we turn it like that. And once it loosens up, we just take it and turn it out by hand. Make sure you have a bucket below because it is going to leak a little bit. Alright, and I will take the filter out. Be careful because you don't want to drop it. Now when you take the filter out, you want to make sure, hang on. Okay, when you take the filter out, you want to make sure that this ring, see that O-ring right there? Sometimes that O-ring sticks up top on the filter housing up there. If that O-ring sticks up there, you'll need to get that off with a screwdriver or whatever you have to pop it off of the car. All right. Now the filter itself, when you get the new filter. One second, let me just clean my hands off here. The new filter, you need to lubricate this O-ring right here with clean motor oil. And you're going to put just a slight bead of oil on there, and then once you put that on there, you can screw it onto the vehicle. We're just going to clean off the housing up underneath here with a rag, just so we have no dirt or anything on there. And then we're going to take the filter and screw it on, and you're going to turn it on by hand only. There's no reason to use a wrench to tighten this back on. You make it as tight as you could possibly make it by hand, and then you're good to go. All right, so we're going to clean off the motor oil that's underneath here just like this, and now we'll lower it down and we'll continue up top. Okay, underneath the hood, this is where your motor oil goes, right up in the top right here. And you just take the cap and you turn it counterclockwise to take it off, clockwise to put it on. Again, you want to make sure that you're using the correct motor oil. As you can see, this one says 020, so you have to make sure you use the correct oil. Now, you think you're going to pour it in there and it's going to be okay, but believe me, you want to use a funnel, because if it chugs, you're going to wind up getting oil all over the engine, and it's going to be definitely a mess. All right, now remember what we said? We're going to use a I'm not pushing the Napa oil, just so you know. A 0W20 is what we're using in this case, and we know it's a full synthetic, so you want to make sure that you use the 0W20. If you use a 520, most of them come as a synthetic blend, so that's why you want to use the full synthetic 020. Now we know that this one, we looked it up on a computer, and we know that this one holds 4.4 quarts of oil, so that's what we're going to put in there. We're going to take this seal off. Make sure that this part of the seal doesn't fall inside there, because you're going to have a problem with that. All right, and now we're going to pour in about 4.5 quarts of oil, and it's marked on the back of the container over here. It's marked, so we're going to put in 4.5. Okay, now I just want to point this out to you as well. Even though you may think that you want to change your oil every 5,000 or 7,000, whatever the dealer recommends, you see this oil? Let me get a light here so you can see. You see what happens to the oil? See how the oil is all white inside there? That's why you want to change your oil more frequently. I always recommend every 3 months or 3,000 miles, because you can see that white oil inside there. That's because the oil is actually mixing with water. It's moisture in the oil, and that's what it looks like. So if that's in your cap, that's in your crankcase as well. So you want to, see what I mean about these OTC lights? They take a beating. All right, you definitely want to change the oil more frequently. I'll give you an example of what that looks like. Look at that. That's disgusting, right? All right, so now we have the oil in the car, and you can actually see water inside the very bottom of that. I don't know if you can see it, but look at that. See that water inside there? Watch. See it dripping out of my hands? That's the moisture inside the oil. That's why it's very important to change your oil frequently. My car, my personal car, 3 months, 3,000 miles, religiously. All right, this comes out. We're going to screw our cap. You know what? Let me just show you something else. I'm going to bring you in now and show you this. Look down inside the car. You see all that white inside there? That's what I mean about that moisture mixing with the oil. It's never good. So change your oil frequently, and you'll have your car for a long time. Okay. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to screw our cap back onto the car like that. We're going to start it and let it run for a couple of seconds to get the oil circulating. And then we'll check it again. Always make sure your dipstick is down, all the way down as far as it can go. And as you can see now, it's right up to the full mark. But when I say put the stick in, make sure that it's all the way down as far as it can go, right to there. Like this. All the way down. All right, wipe off any oil that you may have contaminated anything with up here or made a mess of. Okay, so that's it for the oil change. The oil change is done. Everything worked out perfectly with that. You want to make sure that you look underneath the vehicle so that there's no leakage whatsoever from the filter or for the oil drain plug itself. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go in the vehicle. We're going to reset that maintenance reminder light, which is very, very important to do. That way you can keep track of your oil changes. The way we're going to do it on this car is we're going to get in the vehicle. We're going to obviously sit down. We're going to take our foot off the brake pedal. We're going to press the start button, turn all the lights on the dashboard, and then we're going to go to the odometer reset, and we're going to continually press that until we get to the oil change, oil life index, or what's remaining on the oil life. We're going to press it, hold it until it resets to 100%, and then it's done. So come on inside, and we're going to take our gloves off for this one, and we're going to continue. Okay, here we go. All right, so we're going to press, obviously, you're going to have the keys in the vehicle with you. You're going to press this button here to turn all the lights on. You're going to keep your foot off the brake pedal down here so that the vehicle does not start. All right, so we're going to come in, press the button until everything lights up. Once it does, we're going to come up underneath here to this button right here, and we'll press and release until we come up to the oil index. Press and release. Oil life 50%. Now we're going to press and hold this button down until it starts to blink. Takes about 10 seconds. All right, and once it starts to blink, you take your finger off, and then you press and hold it again, and it should take about another 10 seconds, and it resets to 100%. There you go. All right, that's it. Okay, that's it. That was fairly simple, right? When you know how to do it, it is very easy. The main thing is you don't want to have the vehicle running. You want to keep your foot off of the brake pedal and then turn all the dashboard lights on. It's very important that the dashboard lights up that way. If it doesn't light up, then obviously you're not going to be able to reset it. All right, that's it. We're done, out the door and on to the next one. All right, as always, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.